Most companies think the hard part of AI is getting it to work. It isn't. The hard part is what happens after it works. The problems that don't show up in the dashboard, the ones that don't trigger an alert, the ones that quietly compound for months before anyone even thinks to look. I've watched this happen across dozens of companies now, not hypothetically, in real deployments with real consequences. And the pattern is almost always the same. The technology performs exactly as intended, and something still goes wrong. My name is Ronald. What you're looking at is an AI clone built intentionally, because AI is already woven into the work I do every day. I run a company called Data Wonder. We build AI automation and voice agent systems for businesses that deal with high operational costs, sensitive data, and complex processes. Insurance companies, accounting firms, medical clinics, places where efficiency isn't a nice-to-have. This channel exists because most AI content either explains how to use tools or speculates about the future. This channel does neither. It documents what actually happens inside companies when AI gets deployed. And right now, there's something happening inside a lot of companies that almost nobody is paying attention to. If that's the kind of analysis you find useful, subscribe. No noise, just what's real. So let's talk about invisible problems. When a company deploys an AI system and it works, there's a period of relief. The ticket volume drops. The processing time goes down. The headcount stays stable, but output increases. Leadership is satisfied. The project is declared a success. And then, quietly, the ground starts shifting. Here's the first thing that happens. The AI starts handling a large portion of routine communication or processing. The human team, now less burdened, adjusts. They stop doing the things the AI is doing. Not because they're lazy, because it makes sense. You don't double-check what the system is already handling. You redirect your attention. This is rational behavior. But here's what that creates. The institutional knowledge that used to live inside the routine work starts to disappear. Think about that for a second. Every time a person handled a routine insurance inquiry, or processed a standard document, or answered a common patient question, they were also staying calibrated. They were seeing patterns. They were noticing when something felt slightly off. They were maintaining a baseline understanding of what normal looks like. The AI doesn't share that knowledge with the team. It absorbs the volume and returns outputs. The humans get the results, but they stop seeing the raw material. And over time, their ability to recognize anomalies, to catch the edge cases the AI wasn't trained for, quietly erodes. This is not a technology failure. The AI is doing exactly what it was built to do. This is an organizational side effect, and it's almost never discussed at the deployment stage. Have you seen something like this in your own company? The team that used to own a process, now slightly disconnected from it? It doesn't announce itself. It just becomes the new normal. There's a reason this keeps compounding, and it has nothing to do with how good the AI model is. I'll come back to that. But first, the second invisible problem, because it's actually more urgent than the first. When AI handles communication at scale, whether that's a voice agent managing inbound calls or an automation processing documents, it creates a data trail, a large one. Every interaction is logged. Every decision is recorded. Every input and output exists somewhere. Most businesses don't have a clear picture of what that means. In regulated industries, insurance, healthcare, finance, this isn't a minor concern. It's a compliance exposure. The data that flows through AI systems doesn't just sit in one place. It moves through APIs. It touches third-party services. It gets stored in ways the original process owners may not fully understand. I work on AI security specifically because of this. We run penetration testing on AI systems, and what we find, consistently, is that the attack surface of an AI deployment is almost never mapped before go-live. The team that built the automation focused on the automation. The team that built the voice agent focused on the voice agent. Nobody drew the full picture of what data moves where, under what conditions, and with what level of protection. That's not a criticism of those teams. It's a structural problem. Security review gets treated as a step in the development process. What it actually needs to be is a separate lens applied to the whole system, not just the parts. And in a world where AI is now handling sensitive client data at volume, the cost of getting that wrong is not abstract. It's regulatory, it's reputational, it's financial. But here's what I want you to keep holding on to, because we're only at the surface level. The problems I just described, the knowledge erosion, the security exposure, those are the visible parts of the invisible problem. There's something underneath both of them that explains why they keep happening. Across different industries, different company sizes, different technology stacks. I'll get there in a moment. But if this is already sounding familiar, if you recognize any of what I've described in your own organization, drop a comment below. I want to understand what you're actually seeing. And if this video is useful, a like helps more people find it. The third invisible problem is the one most people least expect. When AI systems work well, they change the distribution of human decision-making. Here's what that means practically. Before the AI, decisions were spread across many people. An account manager made judgment calls. A caseworker assessed situations. A front desk coordinator triaged incoming requests. These were distributed points of judgment, each one informed by the specific context of that interaction. After the AI, those decisions are consolidated. The system makes the call. The human reviews, or sometimes doesn't review at all, because the volume is too high. Decision-making authority has shifted not by policy, not intentionally, but structurally, through the design of the system. The problem is that nobody mapped that shift before it happened. Nobody asked, what decisions are we actually transferring to this system? Who is accountable if the system decides wrong? What does a human override look like, and when is it supposed to trigger? These questions sound obvious after the fact. They almost never get asked before deployment. And this is the thing I keep coming back to. When AI initiatives create problems inside companies, and they do, regularly, it is almost never a model failure. It's not that the technology stopped working. It's that the organization around the technology wasn't designed to work with it. Ownership is unclear. Accountability is fragmented. The humans who are supposed to be the check on the system have been slowly, quietly, structurally deprioritized. Not because anyone decided to deprioritize them, because the default mode of an AI deployment is to maximize what the system handles. That's what success looks like. That's what the metrics reward. But maximizing system throughput and maintaining organizational judgment are not the same objective. They can even work against each other if no one is actively managing the tension. This is the second-order effect that almost never gets discussed at the planning stage. The companies that are getting AI right, and I've seen enough of them now to say this clearly, are not the ones with the best technology. They're the ones that treat the human layer as a design problem, not an afterthought. They ask, how does this system change what our people know, what they decide, and what they're accountable for? And they answer those questions before they go live, not after. That's the difference. Not the model, not the vendor, not the budget, the governance design, the clarity of ownership, the intentional preservation of human judgment in the places where it actually matters. Most businesses are not having that conversation yet. They will. The question is whether they're having it proactively or after something has already gone wrong. The work I do at Data Wonder is not just building the automation. It's making sure the organization around the automation is built to handle what comes after. The security posture, the accountability structure, the human checkpoints. Because deploying AI without that is not efficiency, it's risk transfer without awareness. The invisible problems are already being created. In most cases, they just haven't surfaced yet. If you work in a company that is deploying AI in any capacity, the most valuable thing you can do right now is not learn another tool. It's ask the questions that your deployment team probably hasn't asked yet. Who owns this decision when the system decides wrong? What does the team know now that they'll stop knowing in 6 months because the AI is handling it? What data is moving through this system? Where is it going? And does anyone have a complete picture of that? Simple questions, rarely answered before go live. If what I described today sounds like something you're navigating inside your own company, the invisible side effects of an AI deployment, the governance gaps, the security exposure you haven't fully mapped yet, you can book a free call with me. The link is right below this video.